American. So Niels Duinker, coming out of Tennessee at the moment, you hold 8 Guinness World Records. You're a comedy juggler. In your own words, can you describe us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Netherlands. So for anybody that wonders where my accent is coming from, it's a Dutch accent. So I grew up in near Amsterdam, and I
Very
performed
nice.
all over Europe, all over the United States. I performed on cruise ships for 8 years,
Wow.
and then I landed a gig here in Tennessee, which Dollywood is the big tourist attraction in this town. And besides that, you have a bunch of shows. So I performed in the shows here in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, for like 3 years, and then I learned so much that now I can open my own show, and I will be in another big tourist town here in the United States called Myrtle Beach, and I will be headlining my own show there all summer long.
Very nice. So after performing for all of these years, and traveling and working on other people's shows, and just now you're going to start to headline your own show.
Yeah, so I headline my show on like Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, and it's a great experience. But then it's only for the people that are on board. So it's like, how can I
Right.
reach a bigger audience because of YouTube? And yeah, so many people want to see my shows. It's like, okay, if I'm here on land, everybody that wants to can come and see my show.
How about with regards to the internet? How can people find you? Do you have a lot of exposure there? Is that something you're working on actively? Because with the internet,
Oh,
it's a great opportunity to get a lot of eyes on our work if we can get it
yeah, it's
out there.
actually funny. Like the YouTube channel grew quite a bit, but like in the beginning, I never really worked on it that hard. I just tried to make the best content possible. So what did very well for me was like learn how to juggle videos. So they have like a couple million views now, and a lot of people come to my show. They say, "I learned how to juggle from you, and I want to see you
Wow.
live." And yeah, so just on YouTube, if you put in learn how to juggle, you will find the tutorials made by me, Niels Duinker.
So, Niels, can we talk a little bit about your juggling and how you started and your practice routine and just that addiction you got? Can we get a little bit of background information on that? The Netherlands, you started juggling. Let's go from there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like actually, my coach, like I started working with Albert Lucas, and he is one of the best jugglers in the world. He's the only guy in the world that has done 14 rings. And if you think about like 12 rings, that's the goal that I'm training towards right now. Like more people have walked on the surface of the moon than have juggled 12 rings. So
Wow.
less than 10 people in the history of planet Earth have done 12 rings. So that's the big goal now. So like every morning I'm like doing some weights, and then I go to the gym to juggle the rings, and then later on I go for a run to because you need, like, it's so precise, and your condition needs to be so good that you need to do all these 3 elements in the training regimen. So that's what I'm doing daily on top of preparing for the show.
Each one of those components needs to be properly aligned and taken care of so you can be focused and ready to do even just those 12 rings.
Yeah, like this 12 rings, like more people have walked on the surface of the moon than have juggled 12 rings. So it's like basically if you juggle 12 objects or any object with juggling, you need to track the path of every object. Then your brain need to calculate where that object is. And
Wow,
then
Niels, how are you even making these calculations? 12 objects. That's
it's kind of interesting because if you want to do it consciously, you cannot track it. It goes too fast. So it's a lot of muscle memory and a lot of like subconscious. So you do all those drills that your body kind of already knows what to do, because if you start thinking about it, it goes too quick. It's like same like one university studied it for a little bit, and they said like jugglers and air traffic controllers, they have the same speed which they can see moving objects.
wow, wow. And like you said, it's not even so consciously calculated. It's very muscle memory. It's more preparation. It's more what is required before, so that when you're in the moment, everything's just that lined up to be able to get done right. Like you said, you're not even able to calculate 12 things, or you're not able to make these calculations. How are you? Is there anything that you do specifically when you're working towards this? Can we talk a little? You said you're working towards 12, right? Have you actually done 12? Have you done the 12?
The
What are we
12
at?
rings not yet, but like it
What are
is
you
the
at
end
right
goal.
now?
So like right now I'm at the 10. I'm doing all the drills for the 12.
So you're at 10 at the moment. You're
Yeah.
at 10. Wow. Okay. And now can we talk a little bit about your show and then the aspect of being able to perform, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that might be saying, hey, I can juggle. maybe I can juggle 6, 7, 8. I can work up there 10. But let's talk about you as a professional performer going out there and traveling. How did you create your routine from there? How did you start to say, hey, we can actually make this a full-on experience for people? We can really provide some sort of entertainment and blow people's minds with seeing these things.
Well, there's two different ways. Like you have the technical juggling and the performing. So you can have a very entertaining show without having to be technically very good. So like even you saw like 6, 7, 8, that's already like very high level juggling.
Right.
So like if you do 3, 4, and 5, you already can like most street performers, they cannot do more than 5. Like at the 5 is like the point that you go from like the like an area that most people or like most jugglers can do until like going high level. Like everything over 5 is already incredibly hard. But like
So go ahead.
and then what the audience wants to see, they want to see an entertaining show. So if you juggle 3 knives, for example, like people are intrigued by that. They want to see that. It's technically not that much more difficult than juggling 3 clubs, but you need to have more courage to do it. So it is, yeah, at performing aspect, much better, and you still have the courage to do it. But like, yeah, it's two different things. Like for a good show, you need to have a good script. You need to understand what people want to see. And there's so many elements, like almost like the juggling itself is the smallest aspect of a juggling show because you have the comedy, the lighting, the promotion. There's so many things that come to play.
Are you a one-man army with regards to all of the material being brought into fruition? Are you writing it, producing it, doing all of this on your own? Do you have a team?
Well, most variety performers, because it's not like producing a movie. Like the budgets are a lot smaller. So to be a successful variety performer, you need to have a pretty broad skill set. But then also like the top end variety performers, they do consult with some other comedy writers and stuff. But it's not the level as a movie. If you think about it, like a famous movie actor, he didn't write the script. He didn't pick his own wardrobe. He didn't light the scene. He didn't like he delivered the lines and he acted it out, which is a very small aspect of the entire movie. But like he gets most of the credit because people don't understand. But like with a variety show, yeah, you need to have if you're like the best juggler, but you don't know how to present it or how to light it or how to promote it, your show is not going to work.
And how were you able to gain reference points for doing this yourself? Because you don't meet a lot of jugglers. Where was your reference point brought out? How were you able to say, this is the path we're going to follow, this is the path we're going to take? How did you discover this path for yourself?
Well, I could not find a single person that was doing what I wanted to do. So then I looked for this juggler is very funny. This guy promotes the show incredibly well. This guy has a lot of class. This guy knows how to work with the music. So I looked at all the different people and then created from that package, created the performer I wanted to be.
Now, with regards to that, back to what you were saying, people will be more entertained seeing you juggle 3 knives and 12 objects that might be more technically, more, in terms of the craft and going further and advancing. People, it's always more about the knives, 3 knives. Where are you making these points to decide? So you're advancing your craft while trying to break records, accomplish new. Go ahead.
Well, like I would say, like 12 rings is people stop more to watch that than 3 knives because the fact like most people have seen a street performer or a juggler do that.
Right.
Rings, it's like the high jump. For example, the high jump, if you go right for the world record, like that's on television, millions of people are watching. So, but like if you compare like 3 clubs or 3 clubs with a sharp end, people like that because there's an added value to it. The person can get hurt. So there's an extra hook why people want to watch it. But then, of course, when you do 12 rings, that's way more technical. People know that that's world class. And with 3 knives, it's entertaining.
Right. Well, you're being that you're a performer, you have to manage the performance aspect, the entertainment aspect. You're juggling a lot of things at once. On the day of a show, is there any prerequisites for you? Are you doing anything to shake off any fear? Do you have fears before shows? There's moments where you're putting yourself in danger. You're juggling so many objects. There's a lot going on. There's a crowd watching you. What does it require for you, Neil, to be prepared for your performance?
Well, first you need to. I check the ticket sales, and then you see that you have audiences, so you know that it's worth to do the show. And then all the routines in the show, like it's a professional product, so all the routines I have practiced, I know that are gonna go well. But then it's the performance aspect that you go, oh, maybe this trick won't go well, but like you have prepared for it. You know you can do it. Like all the things that are not solid enough, I practice those in the gym, and what I make my money with, I make sure that I can deliver a good product. But like, yeah, you check the lights, you make sure that you're warmed up because it's very easy to pull muscle. So all those things, you go to your warm up, you check the lights, you check that your microphone is working, so that everything, all the conditions, they're working and they're good. Being on stage, and then everybody's there to have a good time. So with that mindset, I go on stage. The audience wants me to succeed. They want to have a good time. That's why they're here for. So they're not really. I mean, you cannot drop too much, but like even if you drop once or two times, they understand how difficult it is, and they want to see you succeed. So in that sense, there's less pressure.
Very nice. And that says a lot about just the type of performer you are. It shows you've been doing this for a while. You don't really get that kind of stage fright, at least from when you speak. It sounds like you and the audience have that connection where you're able to sort of freely play with your craft for the audience and bring yourself to these levels of testing yourself and trying to break those barriers and do these awesome executions for the audience and for yourself. And so you're able to just focus on the craft and hearing you speak, it sounds like preparation is a big thing for you. You stay prepared, you put in that time, whatever you need to work on, you work on so that when the day comes to perform, there's nothing you need to be calculating or worrying about. It's more, we're ready to go.
Yeah, and also you have comedy and the juggling, so you can amaze them, and you tell jokes. So you have two ways how you can entertain the audience.
And so with regards to that, is it 50-50 comedy? Would you say, is it, how are you integrating the comedy? You're also doing your comedy, you're writing skits, you're doing everything with regards to that?
Yeah, well, yeah. So like per routine, some routines are more comedy based routines, some are more like technical based routines. But like I think throughout the show, it's about 50-50. And yeah, I try to get like a lot of diversity in the show. So I use volunteers, different juggling props, like video routines, juggling with LED props, so that there's as much variety into the show as I can get into my one man variety show.
Very nice. And now with regards to the industry, do you see any advancements? You say LED lights, that's very interesting. There being introductions of that nature, is there more exposure for a juggler to get out there with a comedy routine? How has that been like for you? Do you see opportunities? There could be more opportunity. How can we get the word out more besides doing things like this, talk shows and things of this nature? How is it out there?
I think there used to be a lot more opportunities, but like if you
Should be more.
morph your product, your show, you can still fight. You can still find venues, but COVID didn't help. Like it shut down the cruise industry. It shut down most live performance spaces.
Right.
So right now, like it's slowly coming back, but it's not coming back. It's not back at its full extent, and I'm worried that it will never be. But then, if you're really good and most people know about you, like there will still be some. And sadly enough, a lot of performers, are not in business as well. So supply and demand, like this boat is a lot shorter than 2 years ago.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. The entire performance aspect of the entire performing industry has been hit. Every industry has been hit. The world's been hit, but definitely, you've had to really think about what you're going to do next. I imagine, as everybody has, with what's the supply and demand going to be like? Are people going to be going out as much as possible? Are they going to be booking me as much as I need? You need to make a living doing this. This is not just like a hobby for you. This is what you do to make a living. So it's a very difficult situation to be in, but it sounds like you're always just working on your craft and you let the craft speak for itself and you're optimistic about it all.
Yeah, you do what you can. You do what you can.
Absolutely. Hey, that's what we're all doing. We're doing what we can. Got to roll with the punches and just stay positive. I think there's always going to be room for creativity, daredevils like yourself who are out there performing and doing these exciting, exciting maneuvers, exciting, these exciting juggling tricks, what you call them. You don't see a
Yeah,
lot of
sure.
people
Like,
do.
and there's I mean, like from now on with the vaccinations, like fairs, theme parks. Like, I think a lot of people crave entertainment too. They have been sitting at home for so long, for years, it was not possible. So I think when stuff opens up, then a lot of people will be very excited to get the opportunity to go to a concert or, go to a live show, go to a comedy club again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, what are you doing these days to keep yourself motivated, keep yourself busy? Is it practicing? Are you just doing a lot of practicing, a lot of social media to do what you can? What are you doing these days to move forward and go ahead and plan appropriately for what's to come
Well,
next?
my show in Myrtle Beach opens June 11th, so that is in a couple weeks. So with that around the corner, there's so much work to be done. So I'm working very hard, getting my show ready, and then open there. So it's like going over all the jokes and then writing some new jokes that's especially targeted to the Myrtle Beach market, and getting all my
Absolutely.
props ready in place, all the marketing, like lined up with so many like TV stations, newspaper, all the stuff, just so the people in town knows that this activity is out there. Because the show can be great, but if nobody knows about it, they cannot come and watch.
Watch. That's very true. And so we're going to do what we can to go ahead and gain that exposure for you and get everybody out to that we can. Niels, how can everybody find you on social media?
Niels Duinker. And the easiest way, probably, if you go to wonderstickets.com, then you go to the juggling show, you find my name, you find the social media right there. So wonderstickets.com is the place online to find me.
Very nice. All right. Sounds good to me, Niels. All right, you guys. Niels Duinker, he's a comedy juggler. He's an absolute professional. You guys check him out. Go ahead and check out his show. You guys all got to check it out at least once, if not a couple of times, because it's truly remarkable to see. So, Niels, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
All right. Thank you, Niels.
Bye.